Hi loves, this is Aldea and today I'm gonna give you my review of the Crying by the Horses palette by Titanium Foxes. She looks like this. As per usual, you get the swatches here. So this is the first real neutral palette of the brand, and um, as much as I'm not that into neutral, I still thought that this one was really interesting, and I pretty much set myself the goal to test every palette from Titanium Foxes. So here it is. So I did 4 looks, including this one. I'm gonna show you all the looks and you will bear with me because I'm sick. I hope I will still make sense. I'm not gonna do a very long review because all I want to do is go lay down. So bear with me. I'll show you all of the looks and I will be back after it. Okay, so we are starting this review of the beautiful Crying by the Horses palette by Titanium Foxes. And yeah, Beau looks really beautiful. I'm starting this first look with the shade Pommelé, which I would describe as a, well, in French we say mouse gray. I don't know if it's the same term in English, but like it's a neutral gray mid-tone. It's just a gray. It doesn't lean any like taupe or nor black or anything. It's a gray. I'm really used of the Titanium Foxes matte formula, so it works just as beautifully as every time. It's pigmented, it's blendable. Like, look at how easy it is for me to blend it. It really is my favorite matte formula in my collection. So even though it's pigmented and blendable, you can really build it up. So all of these mattes, even though they are quite the same depth to me, you can really blend them for them to be lighter, but you can also pack it up for them to be darker. You will see me do it in several looks. So yeah, I hope you will be able to tell how good quality they are. So here I'm just applying it as the main matte on my lid, lower and upper lid. And then I'm taking the shade Palomino, which is I would say it's the perfect middle between a cream and a yellow, because it's very soft. I don't think you can tell how soft it looks by the way I use it, because same thing, if I'm going very lightly, I'm going to be very light on the edges. I hope you will be able to tell. But here I'm really packing it, so it looks more yellow, but you will see on the edges it will look like more beigey. I'm just taking a little bit of the shade Ombre, and I just wanted to add it in the inner half of my lower lash line to add just a touch of purple. And as you can tell, it's a soft purple, as pretty much all of the colors. And after putting my NYX glitter primer, I'm taking the shade Tresse, which is a very fine dark gray. Well, in French we say anthracite. I don't know if anthracite or anthracite is an English word, but you know, maybe you could say gunmetal, I guess. And it's really beautiful, very fine, very sparkly. It works really well when I applied it with the brush as I did, but I think it's always easier to blend on the edges when I use my finger, so that's why I ended up switching to my finger. And then I take the shade Fleur de Prairie. Well, I'm just swatching a bunch of shade. Fleur de Prairie is not the one that I ended up picking up, but I'm swatching everything for the first time. Here is the shade Crème, and here is the shade Alezon. And yeah, I'm quite impressed with all of these. And I think, yeah, I swatched Paille as well. And yeah, I don't think any of those would be a bad choice. Like, all of them would look very beautiful, but I ended up choosing Alezon. And this one is very, like, it's a very fine foiled shade. It goes to a, like, copper to a antique gold. That's how I would describe it. It's really so beautiful, and it looks very fine, as you can tell. It's I really love it. It looks creamy, like. And then for the inner corner, I take the shade Crème, which I would describe as a light champagne. It's not my favorite type of shades, but it really makes a lot of sense in this palette, and it works beautifully. So yeah, even though it's not my type of shade, it's still a beautiful one, and I would still use it. And yeah, it's very sparkly and very beautiful. Here I'm taking the shade Palomino, as I said, just to blend the edges, and as you can tell, it doesn't look like as bright, quote unquote, yellow as I did in the inner part. So yeah, very multi-use. Yeah, is that how you would say that? It's really something that I love about their formula. Here is the final first look. I really enjoy it. I really love that combo. I didn't expect to love it that much, and I decided to pair it with a dark brown lip. I always think that a dark brown lip is a good choice. But yeah, let me know if you enjoy that one, because yeah, I really did. It's a great first use of that palette, in my opinion. I think, yeah, everything works really well together, and I'm really not disappointed in the formula. This is the update at noon. So I've been wearing the makeup for like 5 hours or something. And the shade Tresse did move a little bit, not a lot. And the same thing, Alezon moved a little bit. Like, I think you can tell just the line in my crease, but I just tap on both of them, and it goes back to normal. So yeah, big points. This is the end of the day. I think by the look of my lipstick you can tell, and it still looks very beautiful. As always, I show you that my face is oily, so yeah, of course, if my face is oily, my eyelids are as well. So keep that in mind. When I look straight or on the sides, you almost can't tell that it moved, and you can tell when I look down, because of course it did move into my crease. Well, into the the hooded the hoods on my lids. So I of course wished that it didn't do that, but I'm going to show you as per usual when I tap on it, and it doesn't go back to like strictly the way it was. I still think it's like not horrible, but of course the shade Tresse is quite dark, so it's more visible, because of course there is a bigger difference between that shade and the shade of my skin. So yeah, maybe if I did use a little bit more of the shade Pommelé, it wouldn't show like that, but yeah, I still think it's okay when I look straight, like straight in front of me. Maybe I should try another primer. I don't know. But yeah, just so you know, I did use that shade Alzan in another look after I did my review, and I changed my primer because for this whole video I'm using the Sigma primer in the shade Ignite, and I finished it just after doing my review. So now I'm using the MAC Prep and Prime, and I did put the shade Alzan on my whole lid, and it did not move at all at the end of the day. So yeah, and it was the same work day, like a whole day, like 12 hours. And yeah, now I want to reuse a lot more eyeshadows using that new primer because yeah, from what I've used, it's really amazing. So yeah, I just need to point that out. We already started the second look. I'm using the shade Baie Brun, which is a beautiful, like, warm brown. I really love the shade. It's as beautiful as every other matte in this palette. I really love it. But I just wanted to get a little bit darker in the outer part, so I took the shade Louvet, and I really packed it on my brush, which is why you see some fallout, but it's just because I really put a lot on my brush. And I think it worked really beautifully. The shade Louvet is a brown that goes, like, it has a touch of like mustard in it, like it's a brown olive. I really love that. And after putting my next glitter primer, I took the shade Paille, which actually might be my favorite shade in the palette. Like, I love it so much. It's a gold, but it goes like almost olive. It's so beautiful. It's so fine. This is my favorite formula from Titanium Foxes with their shimmers, because usually they stay really well on my lids and they look so beautiful and fine. You will see if it stays well in a couple minutes. And I'm taking the shade Bisou in the inner corner, which is an iridescent, quite bright pink, and it's so beautiful. I think this shade is a great addition in this palette. It's a simple look, but just adding this pink inner corner really adds something to that look. And yeah, and as it is very fine, I could use it as a brow bone highlight. I rarely ever do that, but I thought that for this, with that formula, it would look very beautiful, and I really think it does. I think I could as well use it as a highlighter because it's very fine. And yeah, I really love that look. This one might be my favorite look I did with that palette yet, and yeah, I hope you do too. I paired it with a softer lip, and yeah, I really felt really beautiful wearing that. Like, it has a very like feminine and subtle and kind of fresh vibe. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I really loved it. This is the look after a few hours, like 3 or 4 hours, and same thing. It still looks very beautiful to me. I got a little bit oily on my face, but as you can tell, it really did not move, and it still looks as intense as it did when I did it. I'm really liking this. I'm just tapping a tiny bit on, you know, the little hoods on my inner lid. And this is the end of the day, and it's really the end of the day. It's like 12:30 midnight, something like that. I did not have time to do another update before. And even though my face is still a little bit oily, I think that it did not lose any intensity. Like the shade Pie, it is still as intense as it was, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm really loving that. Like, it did not move. You can see a mark on my left eye, well, the one that's on your right, but I think it's me, like I touched it. And same thing, like it moved the tiniest bit in the inner part, but almost nothing. And yeah, I'm really impressed. I'm so happy with that shade. This is our third look, and I'm starting with the shade Luzerne, which is a very neutral green. And I think, yeah, I consider green to be neutral, but of course it depends on the green. But I think that to add a green in a neutral palette, this is the perfect shade of green, because it works really well with browns, it works really well with golds, it works really well with greens, of course, but you can, like, it's not too impressive, it's not a scary green, you know. It's a great pick, and as per usual, it works beautifully. You can see how pigmented it is and how easy it is to use. I'm going little by little and blending the edges, and it blends itself so easily. There is no gap there. It's not, I think you can tell, it's not patchy or anything. I really enjoy that. I'm just doing a little shape in my crease and leaving a part blank. No, not blank, blend? No. Is it blank or blend? I think it's blank, like blank with where there is nothing on it. And doing the connection in the lower lash line. And yeah, it works beautifully. I have nothing bad to say about that one. Then I took the shade Camargue, which is a very light cream, almost white, but not quite white. And I'm just packing it on the part where I did not put the shade Luzerne. And to be honest, it was just so I would use that shade. I would mainly use that as a inner corner, but I rarely use this kind of shade otherwise. And yeah, just so you know, in this video I did not use it in my inner corner, but I really should. I'm just working things until I'm happy with everything, and after I put my NYX glitter primer, I'm choosing my shimmers. And well, I pretty much knew what I wanted to do. So Pré will be on my lid and Appaloosa will be in my inner corner. So Pré, this is the first time that I use it, and I really think it's so beautiful. This is the same formula as Alzan, which is quite fine and creamy and so easy to use, so beautiful, very reflective. I started off with my finger because I wanted, you know, to blend the edges, and I think it works really beautifully with the fingers. And it's not too intense, like it's not too intimidating, I think. And then I'm taking the shade Appaloosa, and that one goes in the inner corner, and that one shifts from a very light blue to a very light purple, I would say. It's, yeah, to me it's a very light purple. I don't think you will be able to see it in that look, but well, it does. And that one is not as fine as the shade Pré, but it still works beautifully. I just take a little bit of the shade Pommelé because I wanted to add a little bit of depth in the outer corner. And even though it's on top of a shimmer. I think it's still, yeah, well, you can still see that I did something, and it works very beautifully. So I'm just working it until I'm happy with the results. And then I'm taking the shade Paille, and I just want to add that one on the lower lash line to give, you know, this kind of wet effect on the lower lash line. I always think that this looks very beautiful. So this is the final look. I always think as well that gold and green look beautiful together, and yeah, I wanted to add that little thing. This is quite a simple look, but yeah, very easy to do. This is what it looks like with my whole face. And this is the look at noon, so after 5 hours of wear. Same thing, my face is a little bit oily. I'm just gonna show you a closer look. And now that we are closer, I think you can tell that it almost did not move. I think it still looks beautiful. It creased, like you can tell that it moved really in the fold. I think you can tell. And I think as well, like it did crease where I put the shade Appaloosa and in the very inner part, and you can tell a little bit, you can a little bit see my my lid underneath. And yeah, this is the nighttime, like it's 7 o'clock, something like this, so I wore it for 12 hours. And here you will see better what I was about to say. You can see a little bit of my lid underneath where it creases, and I think maybe if I did use the shade Luzerne on my whole lid, maybe that wouldn't have happened, because as I used the shade Camargue, the white one, of course the difference between the shade Camargue and the shade Pré is bigger, so yeah, maybe it's the reason why you can see it, but I still think that it's not like horrible. Like, of course, like I wore it for 12 hours, so I still think that it looks very beautiful for 12 hours of wear. Of course, I would have preferred if it did not move at all, but I'm still happy with the way that it looks. That's what I want to tell. And then for our fourth and final look, I'm taking the shade Ombre, which, as I already said, is a very neutral purple, but I'm not using it the same way, because when I used it, I think it was the first look, it was a very light touch on the lower lash line, and so I really wanted it to be very soft and not too intense, which I was able to do with it. But now I want it to go deeper, and that's what I love. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but that really is something that I adore with their matte formula, because you can really do whatever you want with their mattes. You can blend them, you can pack them on, you can go lighter if you blend more, you can go darker if you pack it on. So here I'm a little bit more on the pack it on style. For this one, I really want to do that, you know, liner shape, and I'm going little by little because I want to be able to be as symmetrical as possible, but I don't want to lose that intensity, and of course it works beautifully. I'm just you know, doing the shapes and changing my eyes until I'm happy with the results. And then I'm taking my NYX glitter primer and the shade Fleur de Prairie. So yeah, this is going to be a very simple look. You already saw it, but and this shade is so beautiful. Like, it looks so wet. It's it's not the finest in the palette, but as you can tell, when you use your fingers with it, it just gets fine. When you pack it on, it's really beautiful formula. I'm just adding the shade Ombre on the lower lash line as well, because I want to define the shape of my eye a little bit more. And I want to do, you know, that shape in the inner corner when it's a little bit pointy. I don't know how to say that in another way. But even though my brush is quite small, I think it's not as small as it should be to do that. So then I decided to change brushes. This one is a liner brush from Glisten, and yeah, I I decided to, you know, clean it a little bit to start over. This one is one from Glisten from the Lin's makeup look, like it was a set of brushes. And I really encouraged you to do that, even though it's not what it's, yeah, like I don't use it with like the way it was supposed to be used, but it's really easy when you want to do something more precise. And even though it takes longer, of course, you can really get that sharp shape that you want. And then after putting some eyeliner, I'm just defining a little bit more on the wing. And for the final touch, I'm taking the shade Appaloosa, and this is going to be the shimmer on my lower lash line and inner corner. And Appaloosa and Fleur de Prairie are the same formula, but on the upper lash line I used on the upper lid, sorry, I used my finger, and on the lower lash line I'm using a brush. And I hope you can tell that the results are different, because it looks more foiled and thin on my upper lid, and on my lower lid it looks a little bit more piecey and shimmery. So depending on what effects you want to achieve, you can use them differently with different tools. I just want to hop and show you how it looks like. I've been wearing that makeup for like uh 4 hours, I would say, so it's not that long, and usually I have one eye that creases more than the other one, but like today both of them did crease the same way. And I hope you can tell that line here and here, like it's a little bit of a shame. Let me just try and tap on it. Does it go back to normal? Okay, so it doesn't go back to perfect shape, but it's very okay. Yeah, big points for that. Okay, so I hope you liked the looks that I did. I tried to do them as different as each other as possible. Let's talk about the color story. I really enjoy the fact that even though this is neutral, you get kind of all of the type of neutrals. You know, you have this little cooler toned corner over here. You have some warmer toned, you have some greens. To me, green is a neutral, and to many people, I guess. You have the same options in the shimmers and the mattes. Like you have warm shimmers, cool shimmers. You have this one which is a little brighter, this one here, Pré. And you have options. Most of the mattes are quite the same depth, like these four, sorry, even this one, to me are pretty much the same depth. And this one is lighter, and this one is the lightest, of course. But even though these are not very, very dark, the way that Titanium Fox's formula works is that it's still one of my favorite matte formula. It's very easy to use, it's very blendable, and you can still pack more color. Of course, if you pack colors, you will get a little bit of fallout, as I did in one of the looks, but you can really deepen it up. And most of the time, like, I think I used that one to deepen up the outer corner in one look, and this one the other time, and you could really see that it was darker. It's not a black, of course, but it really did work. And all of the colors you could blend, and it would blend beautifully. It was not needed to add another color to blend it. This is what I love in this formula. And for the shimmers, we have different formulas. I would say that both of these, so paille and tresse, these are French words, are the thinnest. This one stayed very, very well on my lid. It did not crease at all. It was beautiful. I love this formula from Titanium Foxes. This one did crease a tiny bit, if I remember correctly, but it's often the case with darker color like this one. Then I would say, yeah, I would say that Alzan and Pré are the same formula. They are still thin, but not as thin as both of these. Well, both of these are not multi-chrome or anything, I think. Still so beautiful. Both of these are multi-chromes, but I really love that formula. It did crease a bit, but it was not like horrible, and I could, like, you know, tap and it would go back to normal, which I still really enjoy in this in the Titanium Foxes formula. And then we have Fleur de Prairie, which is the one I'm wearing right now, Appaloosa, and yeah, I guess that Creme is the same formula as well, which looks a little bit flakier, but it's not really flaky. Like, when you work it, the flakes don't stay, you know. They are still beautifully, like, they work beautifully, but they are just not as fine. They are very, very beautiful. Same thing, they did crease a little bit, but I thought it was still okay. Well, you could see how it was. I think that it was when I wore Appaloosa, was it? I'm sorry, I don't remember. um, it did crease, and I did like tap, and one of them you could still see a little bit like my lid, but it would depend on your skin tone and the shadow that you have underneath. Of course, if you have a very colorful eyeshadow and it does crease, you will see your lid through it. But if you are wearing something very light like this one, the difference in this color, even if it creases in your skin tone, is less big. So do you know what I mean? Please tell me, because I don't have the strength to explain what I mean. And then the last one, this shade, which is called Bisou, is the thinnest, I think. Well, I guess it's very comparable to both of these. This one is an iridescent, is perfect for the inner corner, and it's really, yeah, here you can see that it shifts like pink. It's very, very beautiful. And yeah, I think it was a great addition. I really enjoy these three because when you look at the palette like this, it looks very neutral, and it is. I think it's the point. But I think that these three really add something more interesting, because having a pink iridescent really adds something to a neutral palette. Having this one, which is like, it shifts from light blue to light purple. It looks like an highlighter I have from Unearthly. And the shade Pré is very vibrant. you could wear it and be kind of neutral. Like when I wore it, I felt like it was still like not too much like in your face, but I'm pretty sure you can wear it to be even more neutral. But yeah, I think this palette works really beautifully. It's a neutral palette that has almost everything that you could want, because you can go in the different realms of neutrals. They work well together. You have inner corner options, like you could wear that one, but also that one, or you can stay with something a little bit more colorful. I used that one once, and oh, I used it today actually. This is the one I have today. So I think it works very well. I the only thing that I would say, well, I'm not the biggest fan of neutral eyeshadows, so this will not become my favorite palette from Titanium Foxes, but it's still a very good neutral palette. If you are eyeing neutral palettes, to add a neutral palette, but more interesting, because this one still has some multichromes, and yeah, I think it's very versatile. The formula is beautiful, so if that's your vibe, I think that could be a really good pick. This is just not my preference, but I'm still very happy to have it in my collection. And if I want to do a neutral look, chances are that this would be the one I would go to. Since like I know I decluttered my oh no, I can't tell you. You haven't seen my declutters yet from my palette, so yeah, I'm not telling you. Um, but well, but yeah, it did crease a little bit on me still. I wished it creased less, and I know that when I tried the Poppy Storm, I was so impressed by the fact that it did not crease. Well, I remember like one eyeshadow did, like the red one, but I think it was the only one, if I remember correctly. But don't quote me on that. You can check my review here if you want. But even though it did crease, I wish it didn't, but I could like tap 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 and make it go back to the way it was almost. So yeah, I have to take some points from it for that reason. But yeah, I still really enjoy it, and yeah, I will keep on buying from Titanium Foxes. um, and do review of their palettes. Um, I hope that review was useful to you. I'm sorry I'm not doing anything too long, because I have to go lay down. Thank you so very much for watching this. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Maybe give a like to this video if you did like it. And hopefully I will see you in the next one, and I will feel better at that time. Bye.